Something serious is happening in the American pantry, and almost nobody wants to say it out loud. For decades, canned food was considered one of the safest businesses in America. During recessions, families bought it. During emergencies, people stockpiled it. During inflation, canned goods were the cheap fallback when fresh groceries got too expensive. But that era is ending. These 13 iconic canned food brands are falling apart heading into 2026. Some are drowning in debt, some are losing entire generations of customers. A few have already become ghosts of what they used to be. And the cause isn't just inflation or shipping costs or tin prices. It's us. We're reading labels now. We're worried about sodium, preservatives, and additives we can't pronounce. We're choosing fresh, frozen, or homemade over anything that comes in a can. The golden age of cheap, convenient canned everything is quietly coming to an end. Let's start at number 13, Vienna sausages. Few canned foods have been around longer. For generations, these little sausages were a pantry staple. Camping trips, emergency kits, quick snacks pulled from the cupboard. They survived wars, recessions, and decades of food trends. But today, they're facing something new, perception. To younger shoppers, Vienna sausages look old-fashioned. Some see them as relics. Social media hasn't helped. Videos mocking canned meats regularly rack up millions of views, and Vienna sausages are an easy target. Older customers still buy them out of habit. Younger customers never start, and once a generation disappears, the customer base disappears with it. Number 12, Chef Boyardee. Bright red cans of spaghetti and meatballs, beef ravioli, lasagna, heated up in minutes after school. For decades, this was kid-friendly convenience at its finest. Parents loved it because it was cheap and fast. Kids loved it because it tasted like a treat. But walk through a grocery store today, and the shelf space keeps shrinking. The meatballs feel smaller. The sauce feels thinner. Prices have climbed while portions haven't kept up. And the bigger problem is cultural. Sodium counts and ingredient lists rarely work in Chef Boyardee's favor anymore. Many parents now feel a flicker of guilt reaching for that can, and increasingly, they just don't. Number 11, Dinty Moore beef stew. There was a time when this meant comfort. Tender beef, potatoes, carrots, a meal that felt homemade without the work. For decades, that image made Dinty Moore one of America's most trusted canned meals. Now, consistency is the problem. One customer opens a can and finds plenty of meat. Another opens the same product and feels shortchanged. In a market with endless alternatives, that kind of inconsistency gets punished fast. Add rising prices into the mix, and suddenly every ingredient, every chunk of beef, every spoonful gets judged more harshly than it used to be. Number 10, Bumblebee. Canned tuna and salmon that once promised ocean freshness in a can. A go-to for budget-conscious families, disaster preppers, and anyone needing a shelf-stable protein. But by 2026, the entire canned seafood category is sinking. Millennials and Gen Z increasingly see heavily processed canned fish as the opposite of clean eating. Fresh fish, frozen fillets, and premium pouches that feel less canned are winning the shelf space instead. Bumblebee has tried new packaging and promotions, but the shift isn't about marketing. It's cultural, and cultural shifts don't reverse easily. Number 9, Van Camp's pork and beans. Not flashy, not trendy, just dependable. For generations, a few cans sat in nearly every American pantry. Cheap, filling, always there when money was tight. But today's shoppers want lower sodium, cleaner labels, and ingredients they actually recognize. Canned pork and beans aren't leading that movement. They're the poster child for everything it's reacting against. Many younger consumers see this product as something their grandparents bought, not something they'd put in their own cart. Meanwhile, private label versions sit right next to it for less money, quietly eating away at what loyalty remains. Number 8, Wolf Brand Chili. Bold, Texas-style flavor and a loyal following that's lasted decades. Some customers have been buying the same cans since childhood. That's the kind of devotion most brands dream about. But loyalty has limits, and Wolf Brand is running into a different problem: visibility. New brands appear constantly. Social media drives food trends overnight, and products that don't stay visible get quietly overlooked. Existing fans remain loyal, but a brand can't survive forever on the customers it already has. Every brand needs new ones, and right now, new ones aren't showing up. Number 7, Hormel Chili. Open the can, heat it up, dinner's done. For decades, that simplicity made Hormel Chili a weeknight hero. Poured over hot dogs, eaten with crackers, stretched into a quick family meal. The problem is that quick and easy used to mean something. Now it means competing against meal kits, frozen entrees, protein bowls, and an entire refrigerated aisle of prepared food. Hormel Chili isn't just competing with other cans anymore, it's competing with everything. And as sodium and fat concerns grow louder, a product that hasn't visibly evolved is starting to feel like yesterday's answer to today's question. Number 6, Progresso. If Campbell's was the everyday soup, Progresso was the upgrade. Bigger cans, chunkier ingredients, bolder flavors. For years, customers happily paid more because they believed they were getting more. But prices have climbed, and so have expectations. Many shoppers now look at a can of Progresso, look at the price tag, and ask a simple question: is this really worth it? Longtime fans say the broths feel thinner and the vegetable pieces smaller than they remember. Combine that with fresh refrigerated soups and meal delivery competition, and the premium label that carried Progresso for decades is getting harder to justify. Number 5. Bush's Baked Beans. That sweet, smoky, molasses-rich flavor, the unofficial uniform of every backyard cookout, potluck, and family reunion. For millions of Americans, Bush's wasn't just a side dish. It was the taste of summer. But the rise of low-carb and lower-sugar eating has hit baked beans hard. People are suddenly aware of just how much added sugar is in that secret family recipe, and many are swapping it for seasoned dry beans or skipping the side altogether. The brand has rolled out new flavors, but loyal fans say the classic taste has been quietly tweaked and portions feel a little less generous than they used to. Number 4. Hunt's. Diced tomatoes, sauce, paste, the foundation of spaghetti sauces, chilies, and Sunday gravy in kitchens across the country. Hunt's promised vine-ripened quality in a can, affordable, consistent, always ready. But fresh and frozen tomatoes have gotten better and cheaper, and jarred premium sauces now offer a less industrial alternative for roughly the same effort. Shoppers complain about a metallic aftertaste and inconsistent texture. Some longtime users say the sauce feels thinner, the diced pieces mushier. Hunt's is still on the shelf, but it no longer dominates the way it once did. And for a brand built on being the default choice, that's a serious problem. Number 3. Star-Kissed. Tuna salad sandwiches in lunchboxes, quick casseroles on weeknights. For decades, Star-Kissed meant cheap, versatile protein that was always in the pantry. Heading into 2026, the numbers tell the story. Per capita tuna consumption has dropped by more than 40% over the long term, as younger generations turn away from processed seafood entirely. People now want verifiable, sustainable sourcing, lower mercury options, and flavors that go beyond a basic mayo mix, and Star-Kissed has largely stayed frozen in time. Shelf space is shrinking. Marketing has gone quiet. The brand isn't gone, but it's swimming in increasingly shallow water. Number 2. Del Monte. For over 130 years, this name defined American canned fruits and vegetables, bright yellow cans of peaches and syrup, sweet corn that tasted like summer no matter the season, green beans on every holiday table. Del Monte fed soldiers in wartime and busy families on weeknights. It was the brand nobody questioned. In 2025, that all came crashing down. Del Monte Foods filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, weighed down by over $1 billion in liabilities. Major California canneries went silent. Growers were left in crisis. Behind the collapse, old acquisition debt, soaring steel and labor costs, and a brand that simply didn't adapt fast enough as shoppers started worrying about sodium, BPA linings, and added sugar. Walk down the canned aisle today and you'll see it. Thinner selections, more empty space, a once permanent fixture quietly disappearing, which brings us to number 1, and this brand might be the biggest warning sign in the entire industry. Number 1, Spam. For nearly 90 years, Spam wasn't just a product, it was a cultural icon. That rectangular blue can powered families through the Great Depression and World War II. It became a breakfast staple, a stir-fry shortcut, the heart of Hawaii's beloved Spam musubi. Cheap, versatile, proudly processed. Spam represented American resilience in a can, but that era is ending. Younger generations, millennials and Gen Z especially, largely reject high-sodium, heavily preserved canned meat in favor of fresh proteins, plant-based options, or better deli alternatives. The brand has tried lower-sodium versions and nostalgic marketing campaigns, but the core formula, salty, fatty, mystery meat in a can, just doesn't resonate the way it used to. Prices have gone up, appeal has gone down. Walk into a grocery store today and Spam is often pushed to the bottom shelf or tucked into the emergency supplies section. The can still glows under the fluorescent lights, but its soul, the everyday relevance it once had, has dimmed. So what does all of this actually mean? It means the decline of these 13 brands isn't random, and it isn't really about any single product. It's about a massive shift in how Americans buy food. For decades, canned goods meant convenience, affordability, and security. Today, customers have more choices than ever. Fresh produce, frozen meals, meal kits, delivery services, and private label alternatives that look and taste almost identical for less money. People aren't loyal to a brand just because it's been around for 50 or 100 years anymore. They're loyal to value, to quality, to products that keep evolving instead of coasting on nostalgia. The real warning here isn't that any one of these brands is collapsing overnight. It's that if names this big, Names that fed generations through wars, recessions, and road trips can lose their grip this fast. No brand is safe. The biggest question isn't which canned food brand struggles next. It's whether any of these companies can adapt before they're erased from the modern American kitchen entirely. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Which of these brands surprised you the most? And which one do you think still has time to turn things around?